And it was so cool this time because I was actually awake to see the baby. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new here. I am here today to talk to you about my second labor and delivery. I'll just start from the beginning. So I had Bianca in the same hospital as Mila, both in Canada. And when Kyle and I got there to check out the hospital again, it was kind of freaky because it was like, oh my goodness, I am doing this again. And just remembering all of the things that happened, it was just so crazy to be there again. Anyway, I wanted to try to have Bianca naturally. I had Mila as a C-section. I have my other labor and delivery video on my channel, so if you guys want to watch that, go ahead and look. But I had Mila as a C-section, and I labored for a very long time, for a couple of days. But I was hoping to try have a regular natural delivery with Bianca. So everything was looking more favorable this time. Everything was progressing faster. Remember, it was 41 weeks and 3 days that I was along. It was 12:30 and we were watching the 100 and we were trying to finish our episode. All of a sudden my water broke and I felt like I was peeing myself. So I jumped up out of bed and I was like, Kyle, I think my water just broke. And it was just a lot just coming out that I didn't have control over. So I started looking up on Google, obviously, how do you know when your water breaks and blah 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 blah. So I was like, should we go in? And I was really tired because it was 12:30 and I wasn't feeling contractions yet. So I decided to lay down and some rest, and if I started feeling contractions then I'll go in. But I wanted to labor as much as I could at home. I wanted to wait until contractions came and just see how they progressed. I didn't get contractions. I slept all through the night. Around 8 o'clock I finally got up. So I started feeling contractions on the way to the hospital. They weren't too bad, but they were starting. When I got to the hospital I was also like, oh my gosh, what if my water didn't break? I just peed myself. And so anyway, I got there and they were like, your water definitely broke. We're going to start you on Pitocin because it's been broken for about 10 hours now, and we don't like to let you go past 17, 18 hours with your water being broken, because then that can lead to a fever, an infection, and that could just be bad for you and the baby. So with that being said, I was like, let's do this. So they started me on the drip. I was nervous and excited. When they started me, I was doing good. And I remember with Mila, they got up to about 20 something levels of Pitocin, and that's when I started feeling it. So I didn't expect to start feeling anything for a while. Needless to say, that wasn't the case this time. This time was different. Me and Kyle were just chilling, talking, hanging out, texting people, updating people, and there was a Starbucks across the road from the hospital, and he was like, he's gonna go get Starbucks and go get wings from this place that was next to it. So I was like, okay, get me cake pop, because I love cake pops. And he left, and on his way back, it's like a 5-minute walk, and he didn't have Wi-Fi between Starbucks and the hospital. But as soon as he hit the hospital, I was like, oh my gosh, I sent him a text. I was like, that was a horrible one. Pitocin is kicking in now, and I can feel it, and you need to get here. He walked into the room as I was experiencing my next contraction, and it was so painful. If you are about to have a baby and you don't want to know about this, just don't listen to the rest of this. Or just fast forward. But it was so painful. I do remember writhing on the bed with Mila, holding the side of the bed, just trying to cope with Mila, but I do not remember it feeling this horrible. And I was just scared to move. I didn't want it to come fast, and it was seconds in between my next one. I asked the nurse, is really how it's supposed to feel? I didn't expect that. And so I was on the bed for a little bit, going through contractions, and then I was trying not to do the epidural. I don't know why, because nothing worked anyway. I was just hoping that not doing the epidural would speed up my progress. I did morphine and I did fentanyl. That took the edge off. It was definitely still painful, but that helped. And then I got in the tub and I labored there for about an hour, and that helped a little bit too. We were waiting for the anesthesiologist to come to do the epidural, and he finally came after about like 45 minutes, and I was listening to the woman next to me screaming. She was next door. We weren't even in the same room, and she was screaming so loud, and I was like, is she pushing? Like, I don't want to get to that point. And they were like, no, she's 9 centimeters, but she's not pushing yet. And I was like, what in the world? And because I asked for the epidural first, the guy was coming to me first to get the epidural, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't be nice to her right now. I need that epidural, because I was dying. The guy was finally on his way, and they put me back in the bed, and I had to sit up, hold the position of like leaning forward, and he said, we'll do it while you're having contraction, because you don't feel anything when you're having contraction. So he was right. So I got the epidural. He asked Kyle if he wanted to come and see how he did it, but it's basically like a thick needle they put in, string through the epidural tube, and they leave it in there so you can get the epidural to keep coming to you. The doctor checked me again, and I was only 4 to 5, and I've been that for about 2 hours now. I was laboring for 7 hours. Like, shortly after they checked, I started getting a fever, and so they were like, okay, the best thing to do right now for you and your baby is to just go straight into the C-section, which at that point I was just thankful for, because I was like, if contractions feel like this, like what is pushing like? And I know people say pushing is like the easy part, but I didn't want to experience that. So I was very happy right now. So they wheeled me in, and it was so cool this time because I was actually awake to see the baby. It was crazy because like they pushed down on my stomach, pulled the baby out, and I could feel it. Like I could feel the pressure of that, but it didn't hurt at all. And it was just a cool experience because I got to hear her cry. I got to see them put her on the side, and they gave me her. Put a picture here for you guys to see. But it was just a much better experience than with Mila, because they had to put me to sleep with Mila. It was painful because I guess I was going through contractions for so long, labor for so long, that my whole body was just sore. I could feel it, and they just had to put me to sleep. So thankfully I got to experience a different case with her this time, and Kyle was right there every step of the way, holding my hand. He was amazing. He got me anything I needed. He was right there, and I was so excited that he actually got to be in the room this time when they took her out, because when they put me to sleep with Mila, he had to leave the room. It was just crazy. Yeah, we got this little bundle of joy. Afterwards, they wheeled me out. They would touch me with ice, and I had to feel the ice to a certain point before they put me in the room to just make sure that the medication was wearing off and like everything was good. And I was good. They wheeled me in. They brought in Kyle and the baby. I got to hold on to my baby again, and I was just so excited. It was just a much better experience. Even though the labor was insane, I would definitely do it again for this one. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Bye.